Okay, get ready for this. What if I told you that all the big stuff, war, poverty, even politics, weren't things we just have to live with? What if we could design a global civilization where technology creates abundance for literally everyone, with no money needed? Sounds like something straight out of science fiction, right? Well, it's the core idea of a book that wants us to rethink, well, everything. The author, Jacques Fresco, he kicks things off with this really massive question. His whole point is that we spend all our time and energy fighting symptoms. We're trying to fix poverty, we're trying to stop conflict, but we're completely ignoring what he sees as the root cause of it all, the monetary system itself. So that's what we're going to do here. We're going to unpack the biggest ideas from Fresco's work and try to build a picture of what this totally different world could actually look like. But, before we can even talk about the solution, we have to really understand the diagnosis. According to the book, what is so fundamentally broken about the way we live right now? Fresco's argument starts with a pretty simple observation. I mean, think about it. From a person just struggling to pay rent, all the way up to a CEO who's obsessed with next quarter's profits, almost every single one of us is forced to make decisions based on financial gain, not necessarily on what's best for people or for the planet. Now here's the kicker. The book frames these things not as unfortunate side effects, but as necessary features of a money-based system. For this system to work, you need scarcity to keep prices high. You need products that break so we have to buy new ones. And you need incredible innovations to be held back if they threaten an existing market. It's like a cycle of waste and inefficiency is just baked right into the code. And this brings us to a huge concept in the book, artificial scarcity. The argument is we already have the tech to produce more than enough food, energy, and goods for everyone on the planet, but the system needs us to ration everything through money. I mean, the perfect and honestly maddening example is when you hear about farmers being paid not to grow food to keep prices up while people elsewhere are starving. That's exactly the kind of backwards logic this idea is challenging. So, if the problem is a system built on profit and engineered scarcity, what's the alternative? Well, Fresco has a name for it, a resource-based economy. So what does that actually mean? Well, the core idea is a complete 180 in our thinking. Instead of always asking, can we afford to do this? We'd start asking, do we have the resources and the technology to create this? All the planet's resources would stop being privately owned and instead be treated as the shared inheritance of every single human. And when you put them side by side like this, you can really see how radical a shift it is. The incentive is no longer about getting rich. It's about fulfilling your own potential and contributing something useful to society. The goal isn't to beat your competitors, it's to lift everyone up. It's a massive, massive changing perspective. Okay, but I know what you're probably asking. How on earth could you manage a global system this complicated without money or governments or politicians? Well, the book's answer is actually pretty simple. Technology. Fresco's idea is a global, automated system he called Cybernation. Think of it almost like a planetary nervous system, or maybe a super intelligent global supply chain manager. But instead of tracking things for profit, it's managing all the world's resources for the well-being of humanity. And the process would be surprisingly straightforward. First, a vast network of sensors would sense, gathering data on everything from river water levels to what products people are asking for. Second, a central AI would analyze all that data to figure out the most efficient and sustainable solutions, not the most profitable ones. And finally, automated systems would act, handling all the production and distribution to keep everything in balance. Now, I know what you might be thinking. An AI making all the decisions? That sounds a little scary, a little sci-fi dystopian, but the book argues that we're afraid of the wrong thing. The problem has never been the technology itself. It's how humans can misuse it for selfish reasons. In a system like this, technology would be designed from the ground up to serve everyone and the environment, not just a few people at the top. Okay, so we've got the big theory, we've got the tech, but what would it actually feel like to live in a world like this? How would our day-to-day lives really be different? And this gives us a little glimpse of what it could look like. Fresco actually designed these incredible circular cities for maximum efficiency. Everything is integrated. Your home, clean energy, vertical farms, recreation, it's all designed to get rid of waste and commuting, which gives people back the most valuable thing they have, their time. I mean, a lifestyle like this would be a total game changer. Imagine you need, say, a really nice camera for a trip. You wouldn't go out and buy one, you just pick one up from a distribution center and then you'd return it when you're done. The whole mindset shifts from owning things to just having access to things. And with all the boring, repetitive jobs automated, your time is finally your own. You're free to learn, to create, to do science, or whatever it is that truly drives you. But what about motivation? That's the big question, right? If there's no paycheck, why would anyone get out of bed in the morning? The book's answer is that our real motivation was never about money in the first place. It's about the joy of creating something new, the satisfaction you get from cracking a tough problem, and earning the respect of your peers because you contributed something meaningful. Now, at this point, I know this might all be sounding like some far-off, pie-in-the-sky utopia, but the book makes a really bold claim about just how possible all of this actually is. And this is probably Fresco's most important argument. This isn't some sci-fi dream we have to wait for someone to invent. We already have the renewable energy tech. We already have the advanced automation and the AI. He argues the barrier isn't technical at all. It's social. It's our own outdated ways of thinking that are holding us back. This quote, right here, it just captures the spirit of the entire idea perfectly. It's a direct challenge to all of us. It's a reminder that the future can be radically different and so much better if we just find the courage to choose it. Which leaves us with one last, really thought-provoking question from the book. In a world that is obsessed with oil, with minerals, with money, what's the one resource that we consistently, totally overlook? The answer? Human ingenuity. The book's ultimate message is that by freeing ourselves from the constant, daily struggle just to survive, we could finally unleash the full creative potential of every single person on this planet. And that, well, that is a really powerful idea to think about.